What are the lessons we can learn from this horrific ordeal, the worst terrorist attack on Kenyan soil in a decade and a half? Not since the U.S. Embassy bombing in 1998 have we seen such callousness and such brutality that held a nation hostage for 4 days. Here with me to discuss the way forward, if you will, former Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, former Member of Parliament for Lagdera, Farah Maalim. Shmua, good to see you as always.
Good to see you,
It's
Jeff.
been a while.
Yes, thank you.
We used to talk on that other bench and discuss
Capital
issues.
bench.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's face it, Mheshimiwa, there was a serious miscommunication or breakdown in communication somewhere along the line here, wasn't there? Let's face it.
Yes, serious one. Not just now. Jeff, what you have to understand is that in the last 2.5 years, we have had about 90 terrorist attacks. 90.
9-0.
From Mandera to Wajir to Garissa to Nairobi to Galmagala in Fafi constituency to everywhere, literally everywhere. To close to our border in a place called Najabula.
Yeah, but this one hit at the heart.
Nothing like this, and we were worried something like this would happen.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for the last 3 years, long before we went into Somalia. By the way, these things did not start with our going to Somalia. So anybody, including Shabab, who says we're doing what they're doing right now because we went into Somalia, crap.
What about when we hear stories that there was intel that certain embassies, Israeli embassy for instance, had the intel, they heard some chatter, if you will, that the Westgate Mall was going to be hit, that possibly Village Market, possibly Holy Family Basilica. Somebody slept on the job, didn't they?
Many people slept on the job. How many officers did we have here? 3 officers. When that kind of intel information is there, when this is would be a prime target, given the experience with terrorists, and you have only 3 officers here, and every time we talk about this intel information, we've been talking about these things because of the frequency of their happenings in other parts in the past, in the last parliament. And every time we talk to the intelligence guys, they say, "Oh, we have delivered, we have given the information to the relevant security forces, basically, or the leadership. That's the police, the criminal investigation department. But it's nonsense. It's crap.
Yeah. And the way it was handled as well. Why do you think it was handled overall?
Too many duplications. Too many people seeking credit in here. This is just a bunch of a handful, I think, or slightly more than a handful of terrorists. All we needed is a few brave guys go out there and get them. We didn't need more than 30 officers or 25 officers to engage them. But when you bring the entire army, you bring the wreck, you bring the police itself in its own multiplicity, and you bring hundreds of officers out here, a lot of things are going to happen. There's going to be a breakdown of communication, first and foremost. There's going to be a contestation on who is going to command these things. And who is going to, whether it's going to be the police or whether it's going to be the military, or again, what the department of the military, because they have the special forces, they have the paras, what they call them, and all these others. So then we're in that kind of a situation, you're bound to make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. Maybe this is why the president has called for a commission of inquiry.
Commission of inquiry, Jeff, give me a break. Commission of inquiry has been the standard way in which this country has managed matters like this for the last 50 years. I can tell you that. Anytime you have an issue, set up a commission of inquiry. Every time you want to shove something under the carpet, then you set up a commission of inquiry. Where is the commission of inquiry on that serious lapse on our own security at the airport with the Magarians and the Sergarians last time? Where is the one on Grand Regency Hotel, the patches, or rather the cell, and the many others. So every time you want to forget about something, Kenyans have got a very short memory. We have a tradition of forgetting things very fast. which to some extent tells us as a very progressive, forward-looking, hard-working people who don't want to dwell a lot on the past. But clearly, if we don't learn from a lesson from the past, then where are we going?
We're bound to repeat it.
We're bound to repeat the same mistakes.
So what should the president do now? Should heads be rolling as we speak?
Absolutely. Responsibility. People should come out into the open and say, look, we made this mistake. I made the mistake. I take responsibility for it. I'm taking a walk. If that doesn't happen, there's a very easy way to do it. They don't do that all over the world. But you have always, the president would call them and tell them, listen, this is too hot now. We have to revalidate the worth of this country one way or the other.
Yeah.
We have to bring back the dignity or the integrity of this security machinery. We must make certain fundamental changes. So please, put in your resignation.
Yeah. Do the honorable thing.
Yeah, do the honorable thing. The next thing you know is that somebody has done the honorable thing and resigned. Nobody has forced him. But that's basically how it is. I mean, that's how the governments or presidents would transact business like this all over the world.
Here's the other thing other governments around the world would do, For instance, there's a train smash in a remote part of Japan.
Yes.
4 people are injured, not even killed.
Yes.
4 people are injured.
Yes.
Transportation minister resigns.
Goes instantly.
What is wrong with this picture?
Instantly. Well, this happening anywhere else in the world? A whole upper echelon of a number of departments that were sleeping on the job are bound to take a walk from it. And look at the multiplicity of the allocation of roles in that. One time, we had the head of state, and another than the head of state, who, by the way, I give him a lot of commendation in the manner that he has conducted and rallied the whole country together on this very difficult situation. But he's not an expert on security. You see what I mean? He's supposed to give the kind of leadership that he's offered us. Extremely commendable. Extremely commendable. And as well as the former prime minister, as well as the former deputy prime minister, the deputy president, all of them rallied. But these are politicians. But you have to take responsibility. Somebody has to take responsibility for these things that are happening. And they're happening too many. So much so that they're becoming order of the day, part of our lives.
And you were talking about the president a moment ago. He's got a lot on his plate right now.
Massive.
So much on his plate.
Massive.
And next month he's on a flight.
Massive, yes, massive.
I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
Then what happens?
Well, it's not easy. That's the issue. It's not easy. I can tell you, these are some of the things that you think about and you shudder. Because we're going through all these difficult times. We have all these challenges. He is somebody quite up to the task himself. He has proven in that very short period of time now. And in any case, the kind of machinery that stays, what he has inherited, by the way. What he has inherited. But what did he inherit? He inherited what I call the triple heritage of our country. You inherit mediocrity, massive mediocrity. Look at the kind of debates, the kind of discussions that are there in all these circles. And then you inherit a lot of nepotism. You get my point? People who are untouchables, basically, because they come from the so-called privileged class or privileged ethnicity or whatever it is. And then you inherit corruption also. There's money in everything.
There's money in everything.
Everything, there's money in everything.
Like some of these terrorists, the way they came through this country.
Absolutely. We've been talking about this. And immigration has been sleeping on the job. The police has been sleeping on the job. The provincial administration, I talked about the provincial administration in Northeastern Province all these years, and said something has to be done. Bring back some of the people who had done a good job in the past. Give them special duties. And
there's one person you always said would have done a commendable job if he was still in office.
Yes.
And that person is?
Major General Hussein Ali. The former police commissioner.
And special forces
with multiple trainings. Even the former director of CID, by the way, let me tell you, Kamau was good. He had his issues at that time, which was mainly because of the political, he was basically a sacrificial lamb for the Margarians and Sargari. We don't know those things.
Sure.
Because there was some politics behind it.
Yes.
But an exceptional guy. When he was in the anti-banking fraud, you know that, or anti and all that.
Yeah. Okay, coming back to heads rolling,
yes.
Are we talking across the board?
Well, I think for me, more than anything else, the one area that needs to be thoroughly reformed in this country, and who have turned themselves into some kind of a fat cats, is the intelligence services in the country. Intelligence, we gave them 3 billion shillings more than they asked for in the budget of 2011. Why? Because we had gone into Somalia. But they're not KDF. KDF has had its own massive allocation also. Yeah. They're not out there fighting. But to facilitate them to gather the intelligence information that is needed all over. And we've had all these things happening in the refugee camps, in Wajir, in Garissa, in Mandera, in everywhere else. And they don't seem to know anything about it.
Let me ask you this, Mheshimiwa. What's to prevent another Westgate from taking part?
It's very easy to prevent. I mean, if we had the right people doing their jobs right, we would not have these things in the frequency that they're happening. It's, in this day and age, you can get intelligence information and literally have. You see, these people are coming into the country, mingling with the people, doing what they have to do themselves, and then pulling off the kind of things they pulled off.
Yeah,
it's not the only thing they pulled off.
Are you afraid of the stereotyping that could be going on, the characterization, if you will, Somali Kenyans now?
No. I think the president and the entire leadership of the country, the president, the deputy president, the former prime minister, all of them, the former deputy prime minister, and the leadership right across the board, the religious sector have actually read this as Al-Shabaab's interest in this to divide Kenyans along religious lines, yeah. And they have called the bluff. And for your information, who are the people who have suffered most? People from Northeastern Province. The Muslims have suffered more than anybody else. Look at what they've done in Wajir, Mandera, and Garissa, and the rest of them.
Bottom line, can we grow from this? Can we learn from this?
We are supposed to learn, but how often have we learned from past experiences? The only part of our own society that has kept our hopes flying, I would say, not even running, not even walking, is the resilience of the Kenyan people.
No doubt.
The ability of the Kenyan people to look at what happened here. Look at what ordinary people who are not armed, like Abbas Guled, like Faith who was here, and all the others who are here have been able to do. With bare hands, risking all that needed to be, risking their own lives. Yeah. And look at the avalanche of people who are prepared to come and donate blood. Look at the unity that we demonstrated in that short period of time. We forgot all our small differences, big and small.
Let's hope we can maintain that, Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
Let's hope we can maintain.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All the very best.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
I hope there are lessons that we can read.
Well, I hope we do things differently. We need to have a new plate. We need to have certain phenomenal revolutionary changes in certain sectors of our own machineries here.
Let's hope they're listening.
Precisely, yes.
Let's hope they're listening.
So that we then are able to arrest these things and bring back Kenya to Kenyans.
Kenyans to Kenyans.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, Jeff, the only thing I wanted to mention in here,
yes,
is that many people keep on talking about us going into Somalia and this thing being responsible for our entry into Somalia. I loved the president's speech on that. So I loved it.
You're going to stay there?
He said, we will be there.
Until
if they want us out of that place, do what they should have done. They should do what they should have done 20 years ago.
Get their house in order.
Get their house in order.
I heard that.
We've got 100 million refugees in here. And it will keep on going. Al-Shabaab, the biggest victims of Al-Shabaab are the Somali people themselves. Sure. So we are actually, in a sense, saving the Somali people. But we need to finish that job very fast. We got them running like rats for their own lives and running from Kismayu and from all the border. But we didn't finish the job.
Time to finish.
We left them, they're all over. They're all over. And we don't need that much resources to get them out of that place and literally clean them from Jubaland.
We'll get Ali to do that. Thank you, Mr. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Farah Maalim, calling it as it is, speaking about lessons learned and how to avoid another Westgate. We will be back here tomorrow, same time. Jeff Green Angle Live. from the Westgate Shopping Center. Please join us. We'll have another list of amazing guests with amazing stories, trying to come to terms with the worst terrorist disaster in this country in 15 years. Thanks so much for joining us. Keep the tweets coming. Make sure I read some more tomorrow. But for now, we're out of time. We have to go. Thanks for joining us. Good night. Good luck.